My name is Katlin and I would absolutely love to be the Education Coordinator for Western Australia. I have created this cover video as a more creative and engaging way for you to see why I think I would be perfect for this role. I've also included some video references from people that know me both professionally and personally to give a little bit more credibility to my video and make you see from other people's perspective why I would be suited as the Education Coordinator. I hope you enjoy watching this video and can see that I would be right for this role. Before I start, I'd like to begin by explaining a little bit more about myself. So I have been passionate about environmental conservation ever since I was a little girl. This flowed through to my bachelor's degree in environmental economics and geography. I wanted to learn a little bit more about policy making and how we can have an influence in the environment from a government and corporate perspective. I then went overseas and travelled many different countries, including the Bahamas, where I worked as a sustainability teacher and food security manager. I started off as an intern, and from this I was able to find my passion for food security. I had no idea the role that food would play in changing our environment. Since starting as an intern, I knew that this is what I wanted to dedicate myself to, and since then I have dedicated myself both professionally and personally to becoming part of the change to our food system. I strongly believe that we can use our food system to change the sustainability of our world. It's a great way to change people and people's mindsets because nothing brings a community together more than food. If you look at cultures around the world, the history of the world, it all revolves around food. I think it's something we can use in a positive light to change people's minds about sustainability and get everyone on board to becoming a more sustainable future. Since returning back to Australia, I have wanted to focus and continue my focus on education. When I found out about OzHarvest, I knew this is the organisation I wanted to work for, and I really wanted to become a part of the education team. For that reason, I started my Masters in Senior Education to be a high school geography science teacher with the hope of completing that and working with OzHarvest. Not only do I believe that I have the skills and qualifications for this position, but more importantly, I believe that my values directly align with those of OzHarvest. Firstly, being connected by a cause. I strongly believe that every single person has a role in being able to make a positive difference in the world. I have my teaspoon here as a shout out to Ronnie Khan with the idea that every person can make a difference. I think this is reflected really well with our current project, the Use It Up tape. It really highlights to every household the role that they can have in becoming more sustainable through the way they waste food, or reducing their food waste. The second element, nourish and grow. I think this relates to people's ability to give and receive. Everyone deserves to receive when they are in need, and I think that every person has the opportunity to give at some point in their life. OzHarvest reflects both of those, the opportunity to give and the opportunity to receive. Through the last 18 months volunteering with OzHarvest, I believe I've been able to give where I can, and I've absolutely loved every single moment with OzHarvest. The third one is to be boldly courageous. I think I embody this 100%. The best example I have of this is when I travelled to the Galapagos and sailed from the Galapagos to Easter Island with X-Expedition. X-Expedition was a round the world sailing trip that was promoting women in science and raising awareness on plastic pollution. We had 2 weeks out at sea collecting research on plastic pollution. I had never in my life been sailing before. I'd never met anyone that was going to be on my boat for the 2 weeks. But it was a cause I was very passionate about, so there was no stopping me when I applied and then eventually got accepted to join X-Expedition. The fourth element, with gratitude. I believe I've been able to harness this through my yoga journey. I've now completed my yoga instructor course and am able to teach yoga, which I love. And when I teach yoga, I like to have a focus on gratitude. It's helped me learn myself more about the importance of gratitude and share the message with others. There's so much in life we have to be thankful for, and this can help bring communities together and make the world a more happy place. I'd now like to outline to you how I believe my skills and qualifications meet what was outlined in the position description. First of all, my qualifications. So I am just about finished my Masters in Teaching, as I mentioned before, to be a high school geography science teacher. I chose these teaching areas because I think it relates most to the FEAST program, and I have a great understanding of the curriculum and how to apply it. I currently have a GPA of 6.5 out of 7, and I've really dedicated myself to my studies over the last 12 months. To help give you a little bit more explanation on my abilities with the curriculum and within my studies, I have a reference from the Associate Professor at USC, Debbie Heck.
Hello, my name is Debbie Heck and I'm an Associate Professor at the University of the Sunshine Coast. Today I'd like to provide you with a video reference for Katlin Tilley. I've known Katlin throughout 2021, where she has studied 2 courses with me, the first one in Junior Secondary Geography and the second in Senior Secondary Geography. I've been really interested to see the substantial knowledge that Katlin has about sustainability and how she's brought that forth in both of those courses to apply it to both junior and senior secondary curriculum. I feel that Katlin has a strong capability to work quickly and to analyse and to understand curriculum and to apply that in a variety of contexts and to make some innovative and interesting lessons and explore different ways of doing things that are often quite outside of the box. Katlin's an adaptable teacher, she communicates well, and she's very personable in the way that she interacts with other students in the classroom and with academic staff in the context of her study here at the University of the Sunshine Coast. Katlin's very able to be self-directed. She has a keen understanding of her capabilities and strives always to be developing herself and those around her. I've been really interested to see how she's engaged. The Master of Teaching is a fairly demanding program, and she's been able to manage and adapt in that context to learning a whole lot of new things very quickly. And I feel that she'll be able to take these forth to being able to understand both the complexity of the curriculum, but also the variety of contexts within which the work that she's been doing in curriculum and sustainability and how that plays out for her into the future. I fully recommend Katlin's capabilities in terms of what I've seen in her engagement with me and with curriculum. Thank you.
I would now like to explain to you my experience with OzHarvest. I've been volunteering with OzHarvest for over 12 months now and I absolutely loved it. I've been involved in education programs at schools and with corporations. I've gone to environmental days as a representative of OzHarvest. I've done my Feast online training program. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get involved with the program because of COVID, but I am fully trained in the Feast program already. I also do pickups and deliveries weekly, which I love getting involved with the community and seeing where the deliveries go. And I think this helps make my educational deliveries and educational programs more meaningful and impactful, as I can explain to the students what I've seen firsthand from food pickup and food delivery. Michelle, who's the Sunshine Coast coordinator of OzHarvest, has a few words to say about my involvement with OzHarvest so far.
Hello, my name is Michelle Lipner and I'm the coordinator of OzHarvest on the Sunshine Coast, and this is a video reference for the wonderful Katlin Tilley. I've known Katlin for actually over a year, and I'd have to say that she's probably one of the most dedicated and passionate volunteers that we have, and I have been so grateful for her participation in our programs on the Sunshine Coast, and that's included helping out with food rescue, which she's always one of the first people to say, I'll give a hand, I'll help out, let me do it, to our education outreach program. And in just the 1 year that she's been with us, I think Katlin has actually gone out and given presentations to 3 or 4 schools, maybe, and also to some students who are homeschooled. And I think that she's reached out and talked to maybe about 100 plus kids on the Sunshine Coast, and the feedback that I've gotten and what I've seen her do, she is absolutely a star. And I think that Katlin isn't only a star, but a rising star. And I think any organization would be blessed to have Katlin in their organization. I'd say for OzHarvest, she is everything that OzHarvest is looking for in a staff member. She's dynamic, she's motivated, she loves the OzHarvest ethos, and she cares. She cares about people. She cares about She cares about people. She cares about students. She cares about doing the right thing for the environment. And I can't think of any better representative to OzHarvest than Katlin Tilley. So I would recommend Katlin unreservedly. And my greatest hope is that OzHarvest sees what a special gem she is. And I hope you give her application not only serious consideration, but really see her for what we see her as, and that's the best. Thank you.
Mary, who's the OzHarvest Sunshine Coast Coordinator for Education, would like to add a few words about my involvement in the education program over the last 12 months.
Katlin is an ambassador for us. She is amazing. She heads out to primary schools and speaks about food waste and OzHarvest. Between her life experience and her passion for food waste, she is amazing. Kids really are captivated. She knows her stuff, and you know what? She's just plain passionate and a well-rounded person. So please, Western Australia, don't lose this opportunity. Have a look at Katlin. She's an amazing candidate. Thank you.
Sustainability and environmental conservation is at my absolute core. When I was in the Bahamas, as I mentioned before, I got to become the sustainability teacher and food security manager. I absolutely love this role. I love being able to focus on food, and in the environment of the Bahamas, it was really, really special. The island that I lived on was very food insecure. They imported 91% of their food, which made them very vulnerable. For this reason, I got to create a program called the Local Farmers Project. This project aimed at our school working with local farmers to increase food production on island. We did this by increasing our relationships, making food commitments, and also helping out with our capital. I also got to use my school students to get involved in the project, which was amazing. So the students would go to the farms and help out and get to know the local farmers. I have a past student, Cam, that would like to say a few words about how I was able to inspire her to become a food security ambassador.
Hi, I'm Cam Gattell, and I worked with Caitlin Tilley at the Island School on the food security research team. Caitlin not only was my teacher, but she was my mentor in the subject. She actively represented our subject of food security in the dining hall and throughout her daily life. This internal passion for sustainability was clear through her teaching. She wanted to instill that same drive within us, and I owe my love for food security and sustainability to the classroom that Caitlin cultivated for us at the Island School. She not only taught me all I know about food sustainability, but she helped me grow into a global leader and advocate for the environment. If it weren't for Caitlin being my teacher, I would not be following the career path I am today, and I would not be the sustainability advocate I am throughout my everyday life.
Communication comes very naturally to me, both written and verbal. I created this video so that you could see my ability in public speaking and video making. But I also have experience in report writing, grant writing, and creating curriculum programs. So I created the program for my class at the Island School in the Bahamas completely from scratch. I have experience with webinars and podcasts, which are all too familiar in our COVID environment. I really enjoy engaging with people, and I feel as though I can be very persuasive when I need to be. Because I'm so passionate about food security and the Feast program, I think I will be able to be very persuasive with schools and get them to understand why it's so important for the students to be involved and figure out how it can be mutually beneficial for every party involved. I love building relationships with people and networking within the community. As I mentioned before, the Local Farmers Project that I created relied solely on the relationships that I could build with the local farmers, governments, and the schools around me. I had to meet with farmers that I'd never met before and try and build a trusting relationship with them to invest in us as a supplier. I also met with governments to try and develop local programs that could allow students and interns to work with our school to increase the food security and increase awareness on food security. I think it's incredibly important to build trusting relationships with people, and that comes from really understanding them and taking the time with communication, figuring out what method of communication works best for people. Some people work well over email, some phone call, and some people need that face-to-face contact. I think my ability to understand people, relate to them, makes me able to build strong relationships with communities, schools, teachers, and students alike. There's no doubt that volunteers are the backbone to OzHarvest. I've had experience both being a volunteer with OzHarvest, and I've also had experience as a manager of volunteers when I was overseas. Through my role, I was required to hire, train, recruit, everything with volunteers, and I loved it. I really loved networking with them and making sure they realised how valued they were within our organisation. When people are volunteering, it's essential that they feel appreciated. When I had my volunteers in the Bahamas, they were doing some less than ideal jobs, such as shoveling poo, turning compost, or weeding garden beds. I was able to excite them about food security and get them really enthusiastic about those roles. So I think if I'm able to get people excited about shoveling poo, I will be able to create a great team of volunteers that are excited about our educational programs with Feast. There is no doubt that kitchen competence is a key skill for the Feast program. I have experience in kitchens from hospitality, working in bars, pubs, cafes and restaurants, And then I also have experience working with students in a kitchen from the local farmers project. The most valuable event that I believe we had with the local farmers project was the community dinner we created. This dinner was started off by the students planning the event. They cooked all of the food and they presented it to the local community. They did all of the advertising and the event was an absolute success. I think it was the most impactful event because of the way I was able to see behaviour changes after it. People really understood what it meant to be connected to your farmers. We invited all the local farmers to the event, so consumers, farmers were all eating together, enjoying the food. I was in the kitchen with the students, so I had to be monitoring everyone using the kitchen utensils in a safe environment. And from that community dinner, I was able to see excitement both from the students as well as the rest of the community and the farmers. I think this relates slightly to the feast program, and I'm really excited to be able to be in the classroom and the kitchen with the students and blend that learning with hands-on cooking, working with the food and really understanding what it means to be safe and secure with our food, sustainable with our food, and having a future where we can have our food system be more sustainable and more environmentally friendly. Finally, before I wrap up, I'd just like to touch on my personal traits to provide a little bit more evidence of why I think I would be a well-suited person for this job. I am very motivated, dedicated and passionate about food security and creating more sustainable food systems. I'm very organised and committed to my work. Anyone that's ever worked with me is completely aware of my organisational skills, whether it's calendars, timetabling, to-do lists, everything is very organised and open for clear communication. And finally, I'm very flexible. I'm so excited about the idea of moving to Western Australia. I won't have any other family commitments or children, so I can commit all my hours to this that are needed. Working weekends or later at night, or earlier in the morning is totally fine for me. I'm ready to dive in head first to this next position. I have a previous colleague and mentor, Liz Slingsby, to say a few more words about my personal traits.
Hi there, my name's Liz Slingsby. I live and work on the island of Eleuthera, which you can see behind me, where I am right now. And this is where I've known Katlin Tilley since 2014, for about 7 years. She was my student way back when and transitioned to being my colleague in the years that followed. And it's been a privilege to know Katlin in so many different capacities, seen her thrive in so much community-driven work. Katlin cares a whole awful lot. She's driven, dedicated, and thoughtful. She's an incredible communicator and passionate about what she does. She's organized and works incredibly hard. She's an educator, and as an educator, she's caring, kind, and thoughtful. She's incredibly creative. When I think about classes she's taught in the past that I've been able to witness and be a part of, she works hard to make sure her students feel cared for and understand the material that they're trying to grasp. She's taught, when she was working here at the Island School, she taught, students ranging from primary school kids all the way through to high school students. She created and designed a research class that aimed at undergraduate level, but teaching her high school students this work. And it's seen her focus on sustainability and kind of the food security region in the realm of that, and really looking holistically. And she really understands, as you know, she's volunteered for you before for a while now. She understands kind of the holistic nature of when you're working with everything and making sure you're really taking a big picture look at problems, at challenges, in order to solve them. You will not regret hiring this woman. She's awesome, and she's the person you want on your team. And I wish her all the best in her endeavours.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you were able to see that I would be the perfect candidate for the Education Coordinator in Western Australia. This is a dream job for me, in an absolute dream position. So please consider my application carefully. You will not regret your decision if you decide to hire me. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a beautiful day.